Hello everyone, today in this video we will discuss about FDI compliances in India. So starting with the meaning of foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment means the purchase of stake in equity in a company by any other company or investor that is located in a different country. In countries where the capital is not easily available, foreign direct investment plays a crucial role. Under the FDI compliances in India, the money overseas is available for investment in an organization established in India. As per OECD, an investment of 10% or more from overseas is considered as FDI. Now in India, the FDI policy put up norms for receipt of FDI by Indian companies through the following routes. So the first one is the automatic route. In certain cases of FDI where the attention of foreign nationals is a necessity, the Government of India provides relief to Indian companies to receive FDI from abroad without any prior approval from Reserve Bank of India or Government of India. Second route is the approval route. The approval route provides for FDI receipts in the country by Indian companies by taking prior approval from certain government agencies like Reserve Bank of India, Foreign Investment and Promotion Board, Department of Economic Affairs and Department of Industrial Promotion and Policy. Next we come to the compliances for issuance of shares under FDI. So first one is compliance under master direction issued by RBI. On receipt of payment from outside India, an advance remittance form is required to be filed online within 30 days intimating RBI about the receipt of money for such purpose along with KYC and FIRC receipt from recipient's bank. Within 60 days from receipt of money, shares are required to be issued to the respective non-resident investors. Lastly, Form FCGPR is required to be filed online within 30 days from the date of allotment of shares to the investors. Next is the compliance under Companies Act 2013. Under the Companies Act 2013, the conditions in respect of private placement provisions being provided under Section 42 is required to be complied with. Now under Section 42 of the Companies Act 2013, it has been provided that firstly, the shares are required to be allotted to the respective investors within 60 days from the receipt of the money, and secondly, a return of private placement is required to be filed with the Registrar of Companies in Form PAS3 within 30 days from the date of allotment of shares. Now the foreign direct investment can be made in any direction, that is outward or inward. An Indian company might invest in any other country to set up its operations abroad or invest in better equity options in the foreign market. Also, it might get an inward pool of funds from any foreign investor. Both have certain FDI compliances to be followed in India, including the registration under RBI guidelines for FDI receipts, filing FDI receipts returns with the RBI, FDI reporting in annual returns, reporting for issue of shares or securities to the investors, following master directions of RBI for FDI, private placement provisions, FDI conditions under Companies Act 2013, secretarial compliances, valuation and investment advisory, issue of offer, compliance, remittance flow reporting and annual return filing. Now there are certain specified entities who are permitted to receive FDI in India. So a foreign corporation can invest in India through the FDI compliance route in the entities like an Indian incorporated company, limited liability partnership, a partnership firm and small scale entities. So let's discuss them one by one. First one is FDI compliances in partnership firm. Persons of Indian origin or non-residents are permitted to contribute to the capital of the partnership firm. No prior approval is required for such contribution. However, there are certain conditions which are required to be satisfied before any such contribution in a partnership firm. So some of these conditions are, first of all, the contribution made by the individual shall be on a non-repatriable basis. The investment made by the individual done as inward payment or out of NRE or FCNR NRO accounts that are maintained with AD category 1 banks. The partnership firm should not be engaged in print media, agriculture or real estate business. Then the investors can also apply for a prior permission of Reserve Bank of India and Government of India in case the investment made by the person is preferred to be on a repatriable basis or for the investors other than the persons of Indian origin or NRIs. The decision for the prior approval will be taken by the Reserve Bank of India and the Government of India based on certain parameters. Partnership firms and sole proprietary concerns set up abroad are not allowed to establish branch or liaison office in India. Next we come to the FDI compliances for a limited liability partnership. FDI in limited liability partnership was liberalized expressively in the year 2015. The primary objective was to promote and enhance foreign investment inflow in the country. In LLPs, up to 100% FDI is allowed provided the person concerned is obeying the explicit secretarial limits. In case where the person is already adhering to the secretarial limits, the investment will not be required for any prior approval by the RBI under the approval route. Now the primary points to be considered are, first of all, no conditions concerning the FDI linked performance are there. An individual or foreign company may be appointed as the required designated partner under Section 7 of the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. Limited liability partnerships are allowed to make any further downstream investment in an LLP or any other company. Previously, LLPs were not permitted to make any sort of downstream investment as such. Next, the repatriation of the capital investment is permissible within the adherence to proper pricing guidelines and the requirements of reporting. All the investments are required to comply with the relevant provisions of the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. Limited liability partnerships can also avail the facility of external commercial borrowing, and also the foreign portfolio investors or the foreign venture capital investors can also contribute to the capital of LLPs in India. In the case of the companies with FDI, conversion into an LLP can be done. Such a conversion can be done under the automatic route. Now under the automatic route, the conversion is possible only if the investment in the concerned sector is within the corresponding secretarial limit. Next we come on to the FDI compliances for a private limited company. So any business entity overseas can enter the territory of India through a number of alternatives. Now there are certain general conditions that are required to be followed. The general conditions are, first of all, as an Indian entity or a company, the operation should be as a foreign company and the registration of the company should be made with the Registrar of Companies under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. A liaison, branch office or a foreign office should be set up in India. The liaison office is only permitted to collect all the information of market and shall provide all the information to the foreign company. The foreign companies are not allowed to earn any sort of income from such activities. The foreign companies are also required to open office and branch office. The primary scope of the activities of branch office is much broader as compared to liaison office. Branch offices are permitted to generate revenue as by many alternatives, like the foreign companies are also required to open project office. Project offices are set up to execute a specific project in India. The establishment of project office in India are allowed under the following cases. First of all, the foreign entity has already secured a contract in India, which will be funded through inward remittance by a bilateral or multilateral financing agency. The loan is sanctioned by any public financial institution or banks to the Indian company contracting the project. Now, in case the conditions as mentioned earlier are not met, the foreign investor or the entity is required to make an application with the Reserve Bank of India through its designated AD bank. The branch, liaison and the project office of foreign companies in India are required to open a non-interest bearing current account. These bank accounts are required to be opened with the RBI through the AD bank. Last one is FDI compliances in small scale industries. The foreign investors are permitted to invest in small scale industry units operating in different sectors. These small scale industries do not include the prohibited sectors. Thus, the investment in small scale industry is restricted to 24% of their paid up share capital. For issuance of more than 24% to foreign investors, the small scale units are required to comply with following conditions. First of all, they have to give up the status of their small scale industry, that is exceeding the minimum prescribed limit of investment in machinery and plant and according to the MSME Development Act 2006. Secondly, they shall not engage in the manufacturing of reserved items. Then, they should be in compliance with the appropriate secretarial caps. So this was all about various aspects of FDI compliance in India. In case of any query, contact Rajput, Jain and Associate, or you can also visit our website carajput.com. Thank you.